Hello guys, welcome back to another channel video. One Piece 992. It feels like it's been ages since we've had a chapter review, and a lot of it is because of an extended break, and hopefully Oda is feeling a lot better. The chapter does come back with a bang, especially with the way it ends, so really good stuff there. Now I do want to point out a few things. Number one, yes, it's the same hoodie as my last video. I really like wearing the hoodie, man. It's just one of my favourite things I want to wear. It's comfortable. This is recorded on a Friday. As it's been a while since the chapter came out, there were a lot of early spoilers, scanlations, and because I was doing solo leveling and Black Clover, I just felt it'd be easier just to delay this and do it the next day. So yeah, so without further ado, let's get into the review. So the chapter is relatively straightforward, with the back end of the chapter being kind of like the most important or the most story driven. However, the whole chapter was pretty decent. It was pretty straightforward, pretty basic towards the beginning. I had a few little updates as to where everyone is to a certain degree, and then we get to the nitty gritty, the juicy bits towards the end. So let's kind of cover it bit by bit. Based on the website I was using for the scanlation, there wasn't a cover page. There was a colour page which looked very nice. It looked like the Straw Hats were enjoying themselves. Whether that's the true page or not, I don't know. The name of the chapter in the scanlation is called Remnants, and ultimately it can mean two things as far as I'm concerned based on the chapter. Due to the nature of the chapter and an early event, it could do with the remnants of the Whitebeard pirates. It also could do with the remnants of the will of Odin-sama. Yes, the Chad himself, Odin. And it's a message on both sides, and you see, because of the way it essentially bookends the chapter from the beginning and the end, it could mean both things. So let's get into it. The chapter pretty much starts off with Perrorin, Marco meeting Big Mom. So if you remember correctly, essentially Marco bought Perrorin, and they had some type of agreement for that to happen. And the agreement was to defeat the demons. Now, essentially defeating the demons could be all of them. It could be the Honorable Banshu, other than the Ninja Corp and the Samurai Corp, them folks. It could literally mean defeat Kaido, but in the translation it says defeating demons, so it's very obscure at the moment, very vague to exactly what that entailed. But when they meet Big Mom's like, no, we have an alliance. Now this is interesting because she's had all these political alliances before, and she was very easily able to betray people in the past. So it isn't something outside her scope of activity and actions, but this time seems to be different, which leads me to believe she does respect strong individuals, and the experience that she had with Kaido in the past when they were younger does mean something. So rocks mean something to her. With that being said, she goes, no, I'm not betraying him. And Perrin's like, but we want you to become the Pirate King, meaning the Big Mom pirates. And she's like, yeah, but right now we're not doing that. And then she starts to tease Marco, and she's like, oh, is this all you do now, just help out these young whippersnappers? Is that what the Whitebeard pirates of Remnants has come to? And he's like, oh, you may be understanding what Remnants really means. We do what we want, basically. And essentially that means that Marco wants to help carry out, this his own will to help the Straw Hats. And this kind of goes back to the whole, Luffy having the ability to draw people in, that charisma. So that being said, a nice little beginning. Then there's a few tidbits. Some of them made me chuckle, some of them made me kind of just want to move past it. Like there's a part with you see the bunny character Kara running, saying, oh, I'm going to avenge Pedro. And it's like, yeah, we know you're going to want to fight. There's that emotional connection with Pedro. Is it really wise to fight Perrorin unless Perrorin is actually doing something to be negative towards Straw Hat Luffy and the overall plan? I think you should leave Perrorin alone, as he might want to do things on the side behind Big Mom's back, because he seems more devious than Big Mom at this point. With that being said, she's running off, and then you get one of the other minks behind her the one that was wearing Nami's clothes last time in war, and name I forget right now, the dog character. With that being said, the thing that made me chuckle though was we see that Shinobu and Momo are still running away from Yamato. That's still a thing since way back when, whenever we got the last chapter, she's still running away from him, from her, him, whatever they. So that's a whole funny thing. And then we had this whole thing where basically Black Marie is not really doing anything. She's just stringing a song. She's playing a ballad, an enchantment, a symphony of destruction, you could say. And it's very, very kind of Japanese play-esque where battle happens and we basically have this music in the background, whether it's a shamisen or some type of stringed guitar type of instrument, a banjo maybe, but it's normally something stringed, and you get that in the background, and we see violence and actions on the back of it, sometimes with no dialogue. So once that plays, then we get to the nitty gritty of this chapter, and it brought a smile to my face because they put in work. These scabbards know what they're doing. Now there is commentary as you go along, so I will address that. So we see that Neko puts in work, and then there's Kawamatsu, there's Inuarashi, there's Izo, and Raizo puts in that work as well. He uses some of that jutsu and does his reverse attack, so he cancels out Kaidou's raw and reverses it and throws it back to him and does some type of binding. So basically there's kind of a parallel that runs along these panels if you think about it. So first there's a flashback in there with Odin, and Odin's basically talking to his Toki, and basically he wants to show them the two-sword style, and basically they're fighting between themselves because they want to be the number one retainer of Odin. And then you see Toki saying, but these lot have got their own individual styles, and then you see the individual styles kind of doing damage and working against Kaidou, and then you got Kaidou commenting on that, saying yeah, they're not as skilled as Odin, but why is it working? And then you get this another panel that talks about and my two-sword style is the coolest, and then he starts later on in the panels, he starts talking about Ryu. Now that's important because if he knew Ryu, which I'm assuming he does, it basically means that they know Ryu, and if they know Ryu, they've got the ability to damage Kaidou. As you can imagine, when we look at the flashbacks, we don't really get it confirmed, but it's assumed he knew Haki. When he went against the Pirate King Goldie Roger, they clashed, but Goldie Roger uses one arm and he essentially pushed Odin away and surprised Odin. And then when Goldie Roger and Whitebeard clashed, he used both of his arms against Whitebeard, and there was a gap where essentially the Ryu was pushing away each other. So the idea was having an enhanced aura around whatever object or item you're using to kind of do further penetrative damage before the actual weapon gets there. And that's essentially what that gap was showing way back when we saw the flashback. So we assume that he knows Ryo based on this because he's teaching them Ryo, and if he's teaching them Ryo way back when, they should know Ryo now. So that's why they're doing damage. How much damage they do, I don't know, but then the way it ends is nice, because you've seen them do the individual skills, and then they're going to use Odin's skill, and they basically say, two-sword style. And then you see Kaidou's kind of like imitation is not going to work against me, and then they land the hit, and he's shocked. And it's that, it kind of talks about that parallel a little bit. It's that 20 years of emotion, 20 years of pain, 20 years of agony that they've stored up and built up and refined and processed into power and rage, and they're just letting it all out now. The issue you have is we don't know if this is going to put him down. Do you think it's going to put him down? I don't think so. He's Kaidou, one of the four emperors, for a reason, and yeah, it's given him the time to shine. We're only on chapter 992, and from what I understand, even with this break, Oda, is going to try to get to chapter 1000 in this year, but I don't see him going down so easily. The two things to bear in mind is we don't see him going down this chapter, which possibly means he won't. We don't know what's happened with Jack. We know Luffy is free. We don't know what's going on with the rest of the Straw Hats. We just know that they're about, and we still need to deal with King and Queen and the rest of the numbers and everything else that's going about. So there's too much to happen for chapter 993 for Kaidou just to be knocked out. It'd be the biggest anti-climax and troll in the world, and this isn't one of those type of stories. This isn't One Punch Man. This isn't Gintama. This isn't any of these troll type stories. It'd be funny. A lot of the reader and the audience would be annoyed as hell, but no, I don't see it happening. With that being said, we need to see how this develops. These essentially different characters and different kind of pawns on knights and rooks. If you see from a chess table point of view, different characters are going into different positions now, which will lead to something down the line. So we'll have to look forward to that. As always, thank you very much for your time. Like, comment, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.